So what is the future of money? The U.S. Central Bank digital currency, CBDC, is the digital dollar going to be the end of our privacy? Are the concerns warranted, or just irrational panic over a necessary and unavoidable technological advancement? If the dangers are real, what are the solutions? And how can investments in scarce assets like physical gold and digital decentralized technologies like Bitcoin be used to counterbalance this constant erosion of our purchasing power? With prices still elevated, high interest rates, and the mounting national debt, the present and future purchasing power and cost of living of everyday Americans is more and more uncertain. If you think that you may be falling short of your retirement goals, see the link in the video description to the free inflation and retirement calculator. For a balanced perspective on this subject, we will hear from economist, White House advisor, and author Jim Rickards, economist and investor Keith Weiner, author and economist at George Mason University, Lawrence H. White, and macro analyst and investor, Lyn Alden.
So it used to be that transactions were naturally private, like handing over a banknote or a gold coin or a silver coin was a private act. But as things kind of coalesced onto bank balance sheets, and then there's like various laws that make those banks constantly give over the information to the government, the natural assumption of what is normal has shifted kind of to be an anti-privacy stance. And go to your bank, and if you've got $100,000 in the account, just be like, yeah, I'd like to take that out. It's my money. You're going to get a lot of pushback trying to take out very large amounts of cash from the system because it's generally discouraged and because they don't like that much private value going around. Even in some countries, buying above a little bit of gold gets you basically KYC, like you get identified for having done that. I think it's fairly easy to make the case that whatever part of the spectrum you're on, you probably don't want the government to have full control and surveillance over every single thing that everybody's doing with their money. And I think that's the risk of central bank digital currencies, and why any technology that kind of provides an alternative or pushes back on that, I think is really valuable.
So they have to get rid of cash. In other words, allowing alternatives to the digital payment system kind of defeats the purpose of the digital payment system. Again, I'll come back to the nefarious and hidden purposes of it, not so hidden. So they have to get rid of cash also. So why are they so driven to eliminate cash? What's that got to do with central bank digital currency? Well, now we get into the purpose of the central bank digital currency. And the metaphor I've used is that if you want to slaughter pigs, you have to get all the pigs into a cattle chute and run them into the slaughterhouse and then slaughter them. You can't just let them, run around. You got to herd them up and get them into a cattle chute, or cows for that matter. And so if they want to slaughter savers and investors, they have to get you into a digital slaughterhouse. And that's what digital money is all about. If you can't have cash and you can only have the central bank digital currency, then everyone's got to have a digital account. And once they've got you in the system, of course, they know who you are because it's all digital and they keep the ledger.
I'm not keen on state governments running exchanges. Those should be in private hands. They should play hands off toward private exchanges and let them do their thing. And so, of course, should the federal government. I mean, that's what I think we have to rely on to preserve our monetary freedom of choice. We have to be eternally vigilant against encroachment of our rights and our liberties by the federal government and by the state governments. And one of the alternatives is gold. Gold actually has a larger installed base than Bitcoin right now. The monetary type gold that is just coins and bullion and ETFs in the hands of the public is like $4.5 trillion. So that's 9 times the value of Bitcoin at the moment. Now, it's not easily spendable as Bitcoin is, but people are digitizing gold and making it transferable online. And so that may become an alternative if the dollar really becomes unstable. So it's important not to let the authorities cut those off, to close the exits.
When people talk about the gold standard, I think there's a tendency of a lot of critics to imagine that what we're talking about is going back to the medieval times. We're going to wear sackcloth robes. We're going to tie our waist with a rope belt. We're going to have the suede leather purse jingling with gold and silver coins in it. The reality is today, Apple Pay, you just take your watch and you go deet at the checkout counter. All the same things exist for gold as for Bitcoin. Yes, you can spend your gold. You don't have to ship it around. There are companies that, if you want to spend your gold, they sell it and pay dollars into the Visa, MasterCard rails or whatever. I imagine that's what would be, the case. Absolutely. If you had a crypto token that was redeemable in 1 gram or 1 ounce or whatever of gold, then as long as the redemption was real and you weren't committing some sort of fraud, then the value of that token would be whatever, 1 gram or 1 ounce. Absolutely. And yeah, I do think that's viable. I do think that is the future.
The PhDs and the central bankers, they would like a fiat money standard because they control it. You can't control gold. I mean, you've got to go dig it up and mine it, and it's a costly process. And I don't think it's any secret that if you control money, you control behavior, you control politics, you control economics. So even if central banks don't want a gold standard, you can go on a personal gold standard. You can personally protect your wealth by buying some gold, putting it in safe storage for yourself. And like I say, I call it you don't have to wait for a central bank gold standard. You can go on a personal gold standard.
Investment diversification is important, and in light of the prospect of CBDCs, private currency diversification may also be important. Gold, Bitcoin, and other solutions will play their own unique individual roles in this new environment. For more information on protecting your purchasing power and privacy, see the links in the video description to the many gold investment companies that we have thoroughly reviewed that provide private purchases as well as gold IRA options. Gold IRAs provide a tax-deferred means of building wealth, storing it securely, as well as protecting your retirement and purchasing power from counterparty risk. Thank you for watching.